Hello again, welcome back to MAGcast for another month. My God, is it March 2009 already? I do believe it is, which means the March Mag is out in JB Hi-Fi stores nationally, and the Prodigy are on the cover. And after 10, what you'd have to call wilderness years after the massive worldwide success of the album The Fat of the Land, they're back in no uncertain terms. They're back on our cover, and they're back at #1 in Australia, as I tell you this at any rate. The album really is a reinvention of old school rave, but with a very, very contemporary edge to it. After some storming big day out shows, it was almost inevitable that this album would do well for them. But the music really does match the hype, which is a rarity these days. Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters and, of course, Nirvana, all back in those years and years and years ago, plays drums on the final track. Dan Rule brings you the cover story in this month's mag. It is a cracking read, and they're pretty entertaining people too, so check it out. Now, if you've always wondered how it is that you can leave school at the age of 15 after being expelled for not saying the American Pledge of Allegiance, and then not release an album until you're many, many years older, and then wait 11 years until you release your second album, ask Lucinda Williams. She's just been in Australia touring. Jason Walker caught up with her about her brand new record, which is one of her best for quite some years in our Life and Inspiration section. Also this month we talked to Kram from Spiderbait about his brand new solo album Mixtape, which is exactly that. It's one of the funnest records of the last 12 months. The first track sounds just like Spiderbait, but after that Kram has a musical adventure that will take you round the menu of his record collection in no uncertain terms. We also look at the Australian Music Prize and what's happening with everyone who's been nominated for that in JB Hi-Fi stores this month. Mag recommends this month we look at 4 very different releases indeed. First off, Blue Note Mosaic, a 70th anniversary, and that is pretty much what it sounds like. Blue Note Records, my all-time favourite jazz label, celebrating 70 years of existence, with contemporary musicians playing classic Blue Note jazz. Blue Note was a label that defied expectations, really. It was set up by 2 German immigrants after the war, one of whom was named Alfred Lion. Alfred Lion is one of my favourite people in music ever. When Alfred Lion died in the early 90s, he was listening to Prince in living colour. By the time I'm as geriatric as that, I hope I'm half as cool. Anyway, this release looks at people like Joe Henderson, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea and Horace Silver, some of the greats that have recorded for Blue Note over the years, and using contemporary musicians to reinterpret their works, one of whom is Ravi Coltrane, the son of the great late John Coltrane. Also this issue, a celebrity charity album with a difference. Now, a lot of charity records are very well intentioned but drive me up the wall. This one, not so much. It's called War Child Heroes, and the money from this record goes to raising awareness and helping children that are affected by warfare all around the globe. The difference with this record is that the original artists have picked the new artists to cover their songs. So when you hear Beck doing Bob Dylan's Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat, you know that Bob Dylan specifically asked Beck to cut a song. Same goes for TV on the Radio's version of David Bowie's Heroes, and my personal highlight, Lily Allen's fantastic version of The Clash's Straight to Hell, which features Mick Jones from The Clash helping her out on some vocals. She does an absolutely fantastic job with that song. Sayum Cootie's just been in Australia playing Womadelaide. Sayum Cootie is the son of the late, great Fela Ransome Cootie, the great-granddaddy of African music from Nigeria, who was mainly active in the 1970s and 1980s. He has a very, very wide musical progeny. Fela Cootie's sons Femi and Sayum are the leaders, and Sayum's new album is entitled Many Things. It does have the strand of his father's music through it, but it's very, very contemporary, and I think if you like African music, you'll definitely enjoy this. Last off, M. Ward has a new album out called Whole Time, and it's an interesting one in that it sounds old, but it's all new, and if you like it's all new, but it sounds pretty old, you work it out, but it's one of the best contemporary singer-songwriter records I've heard for about 2 years. Well, also Mag every month, of course, you can find Tech Mag, more technology than you can poke a remote at. So now it's time to talk to Julia Gaw about everything that's in Tech Mag this month.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Mag section of MAGcast. This month in Tech Mag we look at Google Earth 5.0, where Google has now included ocean, so it's not just Google Dirt anymore. We also review the Sansa View and the Samsung F480. Peter Marks talks about the megapixel. How many is too many? Is there such a thing? Speaking of megapixels, today we have Tech Mag's Jamie Troi in the studio to talk about his beloved camera, the Canon EOS 5D Mark II. Did I get that right, Jamie?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Tell me about it. You love this thing, don't you?
I do. She's my baby. She's pretty much the best camera I've ever had, and I've owned a few now, so, you know, it's an expensive little hobby of mine.
Yep. You mentioned it's a prosumer model.
Yeah, basically, when we say a prosumer, what we're generally talking about is a camera that is usually a little bit too expensive for the consumer market, and usually has a few more features. For instance, you know, a better hot shoe facility, more megapixels, faster camera, things like that.
Okay, so what are its features?
Basically, with her, we're looking at 21 megapixel camera, the Canon's new Digic 4, which they find in most of the Canon line now. ISO is from 50 all the way to 25,600, which is just huge, which means we get fantastic shots even in really low light. And something that has never really been seen in a DSLR before is high definition video. People will tell you, no, Nikon's already had it, but Nikon's got 720, whereas the Canon actually features a full 1080p.
Excellent.
So it's cool.
Sounds wonderful. Are there any downsides?
With the AI servo autofocus, she's a little bit slow. She's not really recommended for anything like sports photography and anything where there's a lot of movement and action. Personally, I think the Canon's done that deliberately, because without that feature, she is basically the Canon EOS 1DS Mark III, so which retails for about $8,000 instead of the 4 for this.
Okay, fair enough. So what would you give it out of 5?
Definitely 5 out of 5.
All right. Excellent. Sounds good. That's a high recommendation. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
You'll find that review in this month's Tech Mag. Next month, we speculate on the future of television, and we pack as many reviews in of new gadgets and toys in tech as we can possibly fit. Tech Mag, it's user-friendly. You'll find it in Mag, in JB Hi-Fi. Back to Mag now.
Thanks, Julia. Tech Mag's intrepid editor, hard at work every month, finding about all things new in technology, and you can catch Tech Mag at the back of Mag. Next month, in April, we talk to the Yeah Yeah Yeahs about their brand new record, It's Blitz, which is a very synthy and electronic affair. We meet C6 Steve. We talk to Jeff Tate from Queensryche about the American Metaller's new record, American Soldier, which features genuine voices of American veterans returned from warfare, and a whole swag of other great stuff. Over 50 new releases reviewed every month in Mag, the music magazine that's trying to tell you something, not sell you something, every month in JB Hi-Fi. See you next month.